watch out now, watch out now. Howdy, hey guys, welcome back. We got another video. So in today's video, we're gonna pretty much go through from start to finish on how to change a tire if you're on the side of the road and your tire goes flat, how to change a tire. The reason that I'm doing this video is because, you know, I'm going to start, recording a bunch of automotive type of work as well. But I said, why not the first video be some of the simplest thing that most people don't know how to do, and that is changing the tire. The vehicle that we're going to be using for this filming is going to be a 2004 Chevrolet Tahoe Z71. And of course, I know you guys are not going to have this particular vehicle, but all the concepts are the same. All the principles are the same, no matter what kind of vehicle, what type of vehicle, whether it's a SUV, a pickup truck, a sedan, a coupe, whatever it is. Same principles you can use on any vehicle. So with that being said, we're going to get right into it. And the first step of the video is going to be about going in the inside of your vehicle, going to your emergency brakes. And in my case, I push my emergency brakes all the way down to the floor. And in your case may be pulling your emergency brakes, whether it's located here, somewhere here on the center console where you pull the lever, or some older vehicles have brakes here where you pull it here, or in newer vehicles you may just have a button that you press. I'm not sure. The first step is find your emergency brakes, set your emergency brakes. All right, guys, part two of it is, if you have something to chalk up your wheels, make sure that you go to the opposite side of the vehicle, or the side that you're not going to jack up, and just put something under the tire, front and back. You don't have to, but just safety, just in case you want to go rolling. That's step two. All right, guys, step three is getting all your tools. So in my case, what I will be using is this 3-ton floor jack. I will be using a T-bar or whatever it's called, crossbar, T-bar, whatever it's called, and an impact wrench. Now, most of you guys probably won't have that, nor would you have the floor jack. Your vehicle probably will come with something similar to this and a scissor jack. Me personally, I don't like scissor jacks because I don't think they're safe. They're not sturdy and they're not secure. I've had a couple of years ago, I had a 1998 Honda Accord that had a scissor jack, and I was on the side of the interstate somewhere. I think I was in Orangeburg, South Carolina, somewhere on I-26 or something like that. And my car actually fell off that jack. So I don't trust scissor jacks. I don't like scissor jacks. I don't want a scissor jack. Me personally, you don't have to get anything this big, but you can get a 2-ton small floor jack that you can probably get from Walmart or Harbor Freight for probably anywhere between probably $40 and maybe $120. So I would personally recommend that you invest in a floor jack, and also invest in one of these. If you're a woman or a man, but especially women, women sometimes get their husband tools and stuff for their birthdays and Christmas. But ask your husband to get you a impact wrench, and that will come in very handy if you're not the type that you want to sit there and crank on those lug nuts. All you have to do is use the impact wrench, hit the button, zip them off, zip them back on. So make sure you get your husband to get you an impact wrench for your birthday or Christmas gift or anything like that. I would definitely recommend any impact wrench, no name brand. I don't care about name brands, as long as it's functional. And a T-bar. The reason that I say I recommend a T-bar is because, if we take our vehicles to shops and stuff, and sometimes they don't always put the right lug nuts back on, or if they have to change a lug nut, they may just find one that they have laying around that actually will thread on, but the outside may be a different size. So the reason that I like the T-bar is, with this T-bar, you have 4 different sizes of lug nuts that you're capable of actually loosening or tightening. So if one doesn't fit, You just rotate it around and you might find one that actually fits. That's why I like the T-bar. So make sure you either get a T-bar or an impact wrench. That lug nut wrench that comes with my vehicle, the 2004 Chevy Tahoe, that's a pretty good wrench as well. But I do like this. Some newer, like 2000 maybe 9 or up vehicles, they have a different type of lug wrench. Once my wife get home, I'll show you the one that she had. All right guys, my wife finally got home, and these are the scissor jack that I was talking about that I don't like. And the reason I don't like these scissor jacks is because, for one, these little hinge points here, if your vehicle starts to fall, these hinge points will bend and break. If your vehicle starts to lean or something like that, all these hinge points will bend and break and cause this whole unit to be unsturdy. I don't like it. And these little lug nut wrenches here, they're nice lug nut wrenches, but the thing about it is they have a hinge point here and here, which these bend and break. And sometimes these sockets start to pretty much wallow out where they're not tight anymore, and they cause your lugs to start stripping. So I don't really like these type of lug wrenches. I mean, they will work, but I don't like them. So these are the extra 2 pieces that I was explaining earlier that I don't like, but they are functional and they will work. I don't like those, and the reason that I don't like those is because they wear out and they start to strip and they start to break and bend. But with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get into the next part of the video, and that's finding jack points. All right guys, so in this step of the video, which is the most important step actually, is finding a jack point. Now, the most important thing to do when you're finding jack points is to go to your owner's manual, and right after I explain this, I'll show you on my owner's manual. Go to your owner's manual and look for a placing or a section that says something about jack points or frame points or something about that. And reason being is because you don't want to just get under your vehicle and place the jack anywhere and just start jacking it up. That's a big no-no. You definitely don't want to do that. And reason being is because every part under your vehicle is not actually strong. So in our case, because this is a somewhat truck, this is a metal frame. This is a metal frame, and this metal frame runs from the back of the vehicle all the way to the front of the vehicle. Now, any place on this metal frame, I would definitely recommend the jack to. This here is your, this here, that's your fuel tank. You definitely don't want to jack on that. So you always want to find some place that's a frame structurally or anything like that, and reference your owner's manual for where your jack points are on your specific vehicle. Now, you can jack on like suspension parts, especially on the front, but I don't recommend you to do that. And the reason that I don't recommend you to jack on suspension parts, because if you think about a front suspension part, it articulates and it moves and it adjusts to the weight, or like if you hit a bump, it's designed to adjust and articulate and turn and twist. And with that, you might start to get jacking on it, and it may want to move or twist, and that possibly could cause your vehicle to fall off your jack. So you definitely don't want, that to happen. So that's why I don't recommend to jack on any of the front suspension parts, like the A-arm or anything. You can do it, but I just don't recommend you. If you have the frame, I would rather you jack off the frame. And also, get as close to the tire that you're trying to change as possible. Because if you call yourself jacking up this car and you come to like the middle where you got the front door and the back door meeting each other, and you jack right here, you're pretty much going to jack up the whole driver's side of this vehicle. And that's what you don't want to do. If you're just changing one tire specifically, get as close to the tire as you possibly can as far as jack point wise, get as close to the tire as you can. And I hope I explained jack points and where you should jack. So on this vehicle, like I said, we will be jacking on the frame. No matter where we're at on the frame, on the frame. This is solid and strong. Alright guys, I just wanted to show you guys. In your owner's manual, you see it says there, if your tire goes flat, it tells you how to rotate your tires. It tells you where to find your jack. It tells you how to put your jack together. It tells you how to remove your spare tire from under your vehicle. So it pretty much tells you everything you need to know. And here it tells you front jack position, which is the frame. And on the rear jack position, it tells you to jack up the axle. I don't know if you can see that, but it tells you to jack up the axle. But I basically just showed you that to let you know that if you look at your owner's manual of your vehicle, it'll tell you everything you need to know. And in my case, I ended up finding tires, and everything that I needed to know was in the tire section, as you can see there. And also, while you're in the mix of gathering your tools, I forgot to mention this part. You want to locate your spare tire. And in my case, my spare tire is supposed to be under here. But my cable ended up getting stuck one day. I had a flat tire on this vehicle, and I had to cut the spare tire from up under there. So my spare tire is currently riding in the back. But if you have a car, yours may be in the trunk or somewhere. But once you reference your owner's manual, it'll tell you exactly where it's located and how to get it, and how to retrieve it. All right, bam. All right, guys. So the next part of the step you should take is, before you start jacking your vehicle up, you want to loose your lug nuts. You don't want to remove them, but you want to loose them. So in our case, since I have the impact wrench, I'm gonna just loose these caps, because this specific vehicle has plastic caps on top of the lug nuts, and your vehicle may have some type of plastic or some type of cap on top of the lug nut as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove those real quick. And righty tighty, lefty loosey. Clockwise is tighten, counterclockwise is loosen. So we want to do counterclockwise. All right, you sit those out the way. All right, so now I can grab whatever, your breaker bar, your T-bar, or whatever you have provided for you to loose your lug nuts. You want to grab it, pick the right size, and in this case, you want to do whatever is more comfortable for you. Well, I like to do both. I put my hand here, and here I push with this hand and I pull with this hand, so I'm balancing myself out. So we have that one broke free. 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 That one tight. And we got that one broke free. And what I normally do is I normally remove all but 2 lug nuts. And the reason that I remove all but 2, I leave 2 on there to hold them, to hold the tires on. And the reason that you want to loose the lug nuts before you start jacking it up, because as tight as these lug nuts are, if you jack the vehicle up and try to loose them while the vehicle is on jacks, you possibly can put so much pressure on these tires trying to loose them that you make the vehicle fall off the jacks, or you make the vehicle unstable on the jacks, and you don't want that. So I normally take off all but 2 lug nuts. You don't have to, safety purposes. We're gonna leave all of them on for now. So now we have them loose. Now what we want to do is get our jack point. All right, so then remember when I was explaining to you, if you're planning on taking off this tire, you want to put, if you plan on removing this tire, you want to put your jack as close to that tire as you can. But in my case, what I'm gonna be doing is flipping my tires from the front to the back. So I'm gonna put my jack in the middle, and I'll put you guys on a time lapse, and I'll just go ahead and get these tires rotated. And then once I get ready to put that tire back on, I'll come back. All right, guys, all I did was I removed the lug nuts off that side, just like I loosened the ones on this side. So I'm gonna go ahead and jack the vehicle up and get this front tire put on the back and that front tire put on the front. You can just exclude this step because all we're doing in our case is changing tire. And one thing I didn't explain was when you're jacking up your vehicle, you don't want to jack no higher than you have to. The lower the vehicle is to the ground, the easier it is to put tires back on. When you have tires this size, sometimes it gets heavy and hard to put back on. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip them around real quick and I'll be right back.
It was one of the people that, the person that hosted it that time was the person that did it, like he was over the little group, and he didn't even have that much people.
All right, guys, so after you remove your tire off, and sometimes your tire sticks, and all you want to do is hit the top of it or hit the bottom of it. So after you remove your tire, to put your new tire or your spare tire back on, you want to roll the tire to where you need it to go. And if you don't have your vehicle jack up extremely high, all you have to do is slide your tire close back to where it's supposed to go. I might have to jack up just a little bit more. Let me jack up just a little bit more. So you want to grab the side of the tires like this. Line up one of the holes. Once you line up one of them, you can slide it right on. Then what you want to do is get your lug nut. Start it by hand. Don't ever start your lug nuts with an impact wrench or a breaker bar. Always start it by hand so you don't cross thread anything. And if you're using the impact, if you take the socket off the impact, put your lug nuts on, you screw it on like that, it's faster. And for you ladies and gentlemen, the reason that I wanted you guys to purchase you guys an impact is it makes it so much easier. And when you start tightening your lug nuts, you want to tighten them in a X pattern. So if you do one here, you want to go straight down and get the one right under it. So in this case, we'll do this one. Then we'll come to this one. Then we'll do this one. We'll come to this one. All right. Now that they all pretty much tight. So once you tighten it down with the impact wrench, because I want to finish tightening them with my T-bar or a pull handle or something like that, you want to go ahead and let the jack down. And then you can finish tightening them up with the T-bar. All right, they all tight. And for these little plastic caps, you don't want to use anything to tighten them down but your hand. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Bam! Man, I thank you guys for watching. I thank you guys for tuning in. I thank you guys for liking, sharing, comment, and make sure y'all go ahead and subscribe down there. I hope this video was beneficial and helpful for you guys. I know it was kind of all over the place, but I hope you got the general concept. First thing you want to do is put your brakes on. Second thing, you want to chalk up your tires. Third thing, you want to go ahead and gather all your tools and supplies and things that you will be using. And third thing, finding that jack point, which is the most important thing. Once you find a jack point, get your jack, slide your jack under it, jack it. Well, before you put your jack on, loose your lug nuts, loose all of them up, jack it up, remove all the lug nuts, pull the tire off, put your new tire on, snug all your lug nuts up, set your jack down, and go ahead and tighten them all up. And that's basically it, how to change a tire. And that's the steps you will follow if you were on the side of the road changing your tire, if you was at your house changing your tires. If you did what I did, where you just flip the front to the back and the back to the front, you can use that same concept. So with that being said, I thank you guys. I love you guys, and I just ask that y'all go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and share. And guess what? Peace.